So welcome again. Welcome again to the Spicy Marriage Challenge. This is day 3. This segment is sponsored to you by The Up Company. The Up Company is a 5-star relationship coaching and therapy company. You can learn more about The Up Company at www.upcompany.org. But I want to say a special happy Valentine's Day to everybody that's joining in. We started out day 1 with a true introduction to the challenge to get you motivated. You know, why now? Why be open to different things? We had a little reality check. We looked at some stats that help us to know, you know what, this is worth the time, the investment, and the effort. One of the stats was that almost half, 47% of couples are not having sex on a weekly basis. Almost half. So we know that really paying attention, nurturing your sexual relationship in your marriage is important. Day 1, we also looked at what are the benefits to, keeping a healthy sex life in your marriage. And there were a lot of health benefits, including feeling closer and including lowering your chances of divorce. So that was day 1. Day 2, we were really looking at some distractions. Like, yes, we want to talk about ways to spice up your marriage. But if you don't deal with those distractions that come into play, whether it's kids, whether it's work, whether it's chores, all of those pieces, it's not going to end well. So not only did we talk about the different types of distractions that come into play, we also talked about what in the world do you do about it? Because these issues aren't going away. So I love the engagement on yesterday, just sharing your different thoughts. This is what's working for me. And we also got to talk about, in addition to those distractions, how are we going to spice up our connection through flirting? So we talked about how there's so many distractions that come into play and that bombard us as we're married and have so many responsibilities. How do we flip that? Where we become the distraction, where we are adding some spice by what we're doing and how we're flirting. And we talked about just interesting ways, intriguing ways we can use all 5 senses with flirting and really paying attention to that. So I want to know in the chat, did y'all do this? Did y'all work on flirting? Did y'all, use your senses to really engage your spouse throughout the day? Did you do your homework? That's what I'm trying to see. I'm going to check in with the comments, and you're not going to be able to comment inside of our private chat if you haven't registered. So make sure you're registering by visiting our website, www.spicymarriagechallenge.com. If you register, you'll get to engage with me live. You'll get to add your tips. You get to also ask your questions live and privately. Also, even though these nuggets are so good and so helpful, they will not be on Facebook for long. So we're going to snatch these recordings off of Facebook at the end of the last day. And you can get a recording for free 99 if you are registered. So make sure you go and register at spicymarriagechallenge.com. Okay, so we talked about day 1 and day 2. Today of the challenge is day 3. So today's challenge is around a few areas. We're going to talk about some challenges and we're going to talk about some spicy games. Now, some of the challenges that we go through as couples, you've been married for a while. If you haven't been having intimacy regularly, you can get out of sync with each other. And I want us to be really honest about some of the core beliefs that we have that might be getting in the way of the relationship being spicy. There's some thoughts and beliefs that we hold on to that we have to address, that we have to change so we can have more fun and so we can have more pleasure in our intimacy. So let's talk about that. I want you to consider there are certain beliefs like, well, good girls don't, dot, dot, dot. Or maybe you were raised up in a Christian background or a religious background of some sort, and it was preached, and you were made sure that you were going to be a good girl, that, you know, girls who do certain things are acting hoish or nasty. Guys who do certain things are acting irresponsible or nasty. So we need to be honest if maybe some of those beliefs might be holding you back, even though you're married. Some of those beliefs can make you feel like it's not okay to really be totally free and totally expressive and be really experimental and sensual and even push the envelope and take risks and do different things. So we got to be honest if those thoughts are lingering, or if we grew up in those environments and unintentionally we have some unfinished business in those areas. So also, I want you to consider that maybe that's not a belief that's holding you back from expressing yourself freely with intimacy with your partner. Maybe it's certain beliefs that actually can cause you to be a bit impatient. Maybe it's certain beliefs that are like, it shouldn't take all that for foreplay. It shouldn't take all that for you to be ready for sex, for your partner to be ready for sex. Be honest with yourself if you have some impatience, some beliefs that reinforce you being impatient. So I work with a lot of couples, and a lot of the women share that early on in the relationship, the focus is about pleasing your man and doing all you can for him. And that trickled into the area of sex too. And they've shared that, you know what? Now I want to be pleased too. Now I want to explore some things that maybe I didn't share in the beginning. So it's really important for you to understand what are your core beliefs that might be becoming a hindrance to the freedom. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? And one of the things that I want you to remember with this, for those who feel restricted, nervous about being free, you can be in your head. It can cause you to be in your thoughts so much that you're not in the moment. And intimacy is something where you need to be in the moment. If you're in those who are in the chat, let me know too. Are there any other thoughts you think tend to hold couples back? Tend to hold couples back. I'm going to revisit back. But another way people tend to get in their heads is also focusing on how your body may be different. Because, honey, our bodies may not be the way that they were when we first got married, particularly after a pandemic where we were all snacking. But you can really get distracted from being present in the moment and enjoying yourself and being free and expressive and exploring each other if you're in your mind about how do I look, and is he distracted by my stomach, by my whatever that you're uncomfortable with. So I'm gonna check in. Let me check in with the chat. Okay. Okay. Back to what I was saying, one thing you can do, which is so interesting, it kind of reflects on some of the work we did with yesterday's challenge. One thing you can do to get out of your head into the present is to use your senses during intimacy. Now, I know you're like, what in the world does that mean? Now, we have five senses, right? So smell, touch, hear, feel. Am I missing one? Taste. So you want to get out of your mind, get undistracted from your thoughts by getting in the moment. You can do this by paying attention to, what do you feel during foreplay, during sexual intimacy? What are the different things that you're feeling? What does the body temperature feel like on your skin? What textures are you feeling in the area where you are? What does your partner feel like? That's one example of using touch, right? What are the smells? What are the smells that you are noticing? Cologne and perfume and body. And maybe there's even like scents in the room, scented candles, like really taking it in. What are the different tastes? What are you tasting, right? Maybe you're doing passionate kisses on one another. What do you notice on your tongue when you're tasting? Maybe you're using flavored lubrication, right? Just really getting in the moment. Get out of your head and get in the moment. This is especially helpful and important for people who tend to be anxious. Maybe it's been a while. The stats not gonna lie now. 20% haven't had sex with each other in the last 6 months. So maybe there's some anxiousness, or maybe you or your partner lives with anxiety. This can be such a game changer. Okay. Some other things to consider when using your senses, think about visually, right? Instead of when you notice yourself having these thoughts, having these feelings of restrictiveness, anxiousness, what do you see visually? Like really zone in, taking in every intricacy, every shape, every shade, visually. What are they wearing? What are they not wearing, right? Really take in the moment through all your senses. Okay. Now, the other one we have left is sound. That's something that you can also be observant of. You can hear just the type of breath each other are taking. You can hear maybe music in the background. You can even just hear the small movements between the two of you, or the sound of you all coming together. Really leverage your senses to help you get out of your head, help you get into the moment, and just imagine how much more pleasurable it will be by being one with your senses in that moment. Okay, so we just talked about how we tend to get in our head about certain things. I could do a whole, seminar on dealing with body changes and what can you do to address that and how it affects our self-esteem, our confidence. But I want you to make sure you are really working on your senses during intimacy. Now, this part of the night, we're going to talk about using play as a way to spice up marriage and intimacy. Now, as we know, adulting is hard. Being an adult, it comes with so many responsibilities. We talked about how it can really make you tired. It can kind of make you grumpy. It can kind of make you not be in the mood. It can kind of make you just want to go to bed early. So why not, as a part of spicing up your marriage, add more fun. Add more fun to how you go about intimacy. So tonight we're going to talk about that. I want to hear from you. What are some ways you can add fun to intimacy to help the marriage be more spicy? Make sure you jot that down in the comments. In the comment section, if you're in the Zoom room, absolutely jot that down in the message box. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what are some fun ways to make intimacy in your marriage spicy. Okay. Now, if you're not in our Zoom room where you can put your personal thoughts down and you can engage with me live, where you can ask your questions live, you want to make sure that you are registered for the Spicy Marriage Challenge. So you can do so at www.spicymarriagechallenge.com. Not only will you be able to engage live, give your feedback, give your tips, you can also ask your questions as well as get free recordings of the entire challenge because they will not be on social media after this week. Now, back to ways to make play interesting. Now, as I thought about this, I want to make this as simple as possible. Less is more. You can actually use games that you already have at home. You know, a lot of us have kids. We got games that we can use to make it fun, and we could put a twist on it. So I know you all might remember the game Twister. You can play Twister in lingerie. You can play Twister nude. You can, after each position, reach for a kiss or a sexy rub. You can really take it up a whole notch or two. So I encourage you to look at the games you already have and put a sexy twist on it. I have Jenga. Something you can do with a game like Jenga, for each time that one of you gets a block out, that might be an article of clothing that is removed by the other person. And you can do it any way you want. Maybe you want to help remove it with your teeth. Make it really fun, make it really spicy. But you can use everyday items at home and just really have an amazing experience. I want to hear from you. What are some fun, exciting ways you can create spice in your marriage? I'm going to name a few more examples. Remember we talked about, there's so many responsibilities that comes with being an adult. So we want to make it fun in addition to spicy. So consider today being Valentine's night. Maybe you're at a hotel stay with your sweetie. And maybe you decide, let's take this fun up a notch. Let's do some role playing. Let's meet at the bar and pretend that we don't know each other, but we're going to go home together. Let's just have fun. Let's make it interesting. Let's make it exciting. Let's add some tease. You can really shake things up if you use your imagination. Another option could be going and visiting a costume store. Have you done that with your partner before? Have you visited a costume store and picked out some sexy, interesting costumes that you can use for role play? This is outside of the box for some, but it can be a lot of fun and really rev up the spice in your relationship. And last but not least, consider visiting an adult store where they have actual games for you to play and enjoy that help you to really explore different nuances of intimacy, help you try on different maybe positions or different ways to flirt, different ways for getting yourself ready by, touches or just heavy flirting. So absolutely, if you're like, I don't know about going inside of an adult store, honey, they are online too. So absolutely, shake things up, make it spicy, make it fun, get out of your head, and make sure you join us on tomorrow. It is our finale. Our finale is coming up, day 4 of the Spicy Marriage Challenge, where day 4, what we're going to cover is a spicy exploration activity. We want to get the mystery out. We want it to be black and white. What do you like during intimacy, leading up to intimacy? What does your sweetheart like? So make sure you join us then. If you're watching online through social media, hey, make sure you sign up for the Spicy Marriage Challenge on our website so you can get all the recordings of the days you missed. You can visit www.spicymarriagechallenge.com. I'll see you then.